Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the time. Welcome to our Friends Forum. We concentrate on cooperation and coalition. This coalition, we would like to see it happen in government. We would like to see an opening up of government, perhaps on the populist theme, which means that many more people could get involved with the decisions and what's going to happen in the future. The last effort here was to say, is Brexit viable? But what I'm really trying to do here is use the Brexit, I've been talking with several friends about this lately. We are trying to use the Brexit period as a change in the Parliament, in that the Parliament should allow admission of folks' ideas, people's ideas, who have been involved in the actual country itself. That would mean coal miners, steel workers, fishermen, those who have really lost their jobs and felt pretty disgruntled about this sort of thing happening. They ought to have an input, and I think we really ought to have local parliaments, a local West Yorkshire Parliament, a local Durham Parliament, the northern part of the country, which perhaps is not getting in on the political side of the thing, and that's what we really need to get to, so that the country can flower and use its talents, which it undoubtedly has, and that way we can, at the end of the Brexit period, 2000 or whatever it is, or 2019, March 2019 is it, then we can be ready to take on the challenge of some new trade arrangements, which will no doubt have happened, in the 90% of the country, which is not 90%, I beg your pardon, of the world trade, which is not taking part in our trade because we're not allowed to talk to it, arrange trade arrangements, and so we're missing out a great lot of opportunities. And if Brexit can open up this way, this communication, this conversation with the many other countries that exist, and work can begin with them. People can take up work jobs, obviously, in Australia, in Canada, in many countries, which now we are sort of missing out on. We can expand our language capabilities, we can expand our education capabilities, and this is the idea we have, that benefits, instead of being just passed to people who are sitting trapped, as it were, in the benefits trap, cannot take jobs because they will lose that benefit. That benefit instead will come to them on the condition that they go and work with many of the people who are short of labour, short of workers, and that way keep the many companies which are not viable because they're trying to do everything on their own. Those people, they're one-person companies probably, with just a few people working for them, and a lot of people can come in for training, and they won't have to worry about bearing the wage burden, because that wage burden will be carried by the benefits monies which are now going out and which are not educating people at all. So providing education is taking place, then people will be able to get these monies, and the people who are working with them, training them, as it were, who have agreed to do this in the first place, of course, they will be able to carry on in business, and the whole country will flower and begin to expand. Even a silly thing like starting up an old coal mine will become a possibility. It will create a lot of local work around that particular place. Steelworks will also be possible to do this sort of training work, sharing out what they are doing to get other people involved. I met a friend, and he had a technology company making various switchings and things like this. He was next to a school, a comprehensive or a big school anyway, with quite an intake of pupils. He tried to get the pupils in to look at what he was doing, but would they come? No, not because they didn't want to perhaps, but because the teachers thought, oh no, our children are classical children and they're going to be great educationalists, etc., etc. But without great work happening at the base point, the lower point of our systems, nothing's going to really happen. Everybody's got to be involved. We don't need to have people sitting, as it were, wasting time without any training. And if schools can't do it at the moment, we need to spread that load of education into the various small businesses, middle-sized businesses. Spread that load so these people are picking up education. And that's really it. It's saving a lot of money which is being thrown away at keeping people doing nothing. That's, to me, a sad and a silly thing to do. And that way the UK is not going to flower. But taking on these ideas, use that money to get training going and to help people who have had training, done apprenticeships perhaps, like myself, and could guide simple apprenticeships to take place, even, as I've said many times before, in the corner shop. Learning to handle money, learning to talk to people, learning to enjoy being around with other people. That's really what it's all about. So I won't carry on any further. I'm allowed about 3 minutes. I've probably gone to number 4 minute now. So I'm going to stop and thank you for listening to this programme. And we will do another one as soon as possible. It's Link Co-operative Coalition, and our website is bizbodysoul.org. It's up there on the top left-hand side of the screen. Thanks again for listening.